Well, welcome to Pastor's Café. I'm your host, David. I am here with Pastor Steve Kern, and we have an exciting episode, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the show. This is a Pastor's Cafe. I'm your host, David. I'm here with Pastor Steve Kern. Today's podcast is Modern Madness, End Times, and Global Warnings. Now, we could say global warmings as well, but global
that is
warnings.
It's a warning in itself.
Yep. All right, so this is episode number 47. We're closing up on the big 50. I can't wait for the big 50. If we even are here or if something happens, who knows? You might be carrying on without me.
Well,
so that's an indication to you that you might want to accept Jesus as your Lord. I thought you would pick up on that little jab at you, but that was very subtle, wasn't it?
Was. So subtle, I never caught on.
All right, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's just dive right into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're talking about poisoning the homeless.
Yeah.
Are policies being quietly proposed that resemble population control tactics? What role do powerful figures like Gates and Fauci play in shaping these conversations?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. It was last week, for a couple of weeks anyway, on Facebook and stuff. They were talking about a mayor over in California that just happened to say in a board meeting, city council meeting, whatever, we need to start giving more fentanyl to all the homeless. and he was serious because just let them have it, all the fentanyl, because what that'll do? That'll just start killing them all.
No, wait a minute.
And we'll start reducing the homeless population.
Are you sure this mayor was a liberal Democrat? Because if they were, they would want the fentanyl to get into your hands, my hands.
Yeah.
That's
their enemy.
Their enemy, right?
Right.
Because the homeless people, well, they all vote 5 times or 6 times in an election.
Well, my question for that is, all right, how many people out there that read that and saw that actually said, that's probably not a bad idea? Because it seems like we're moving in that direction.
I tell you what. Nothing shocks me anymore. It just seemed like we are on a road of destruction quicker than I didn't even think this was possible.
What about this? 55% of the liberal side of things have said it would not be a bad thing if Donald Trump was assassinated.
Wow.
55%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's scary.
Yeah. It seems like we're getting away from the understanding that life is sacred.
Yeah, exactly.
That life is meaningful, and that we're not a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
And anyway, policy's more important than life.
I know. Wow. I mean, yeah. That's the reason why I'm just not shocked anymore.
You look pretty shocked today.
Oh, well, thank you. I was actually going to do a spin here because you mentioned, in the question we did say Gates, but did you see one of the latest responses he gave? And it was, I forgive me, it's I don't remember the setting, but it was an interview that Bill Gates was giving very recently, and was talking about AI. In which we no longer need humans. Right. And that's scary that we were talking about AI replacing not human jobs, but also humans in general.
Well,
and now they have these AI robots, and they're trying to make them. The scary thing is they're trying to make them as human as possible. Of course, the female robots look totally, like they belong out of a Victoria's Secret model magazine. But anyways,
crazy.
I mean, you think there's a reason for that?
Well,
there might be a reason why they want the female robots to look like they're 24-year-old. But anyways, but I mean, and now we're talking about AI having so much control over our lives, and I believe, try to not get off topic here. I believe that the people behind the AI, like Google and Gemini and ChatGPT, I believe that they want people to consume using AI and feel so comfortable that they can't live without it.
Yeah.
And once you get a human being in a position where they can't live without it, then you can start doing some very demonic and scary things behind the scenes.
Now, are you talking about kind of like our cell phones that we can't live without now? Are they trying to get us, our robot, to be our next cell phone?
I think it's even more powerful than that because of how we can interact with AI, whether it be a chat bot or on our phone or having complete control over our computers.
Our newest kind of pet.
Exactly. Hey,
people deal with their dogs or cats?
Okay. So AI, how do you think I'm doing with this project? I think you're doing wonderful with this project. I think you just need a little bit of a guidance, and I would love to suggest to you a way to help you out. But I'm here to support and encourage you. So let's make sure we take your brilliant, articulate ideas and just subtly polish them so make you a totally incredible looking person. And then they do it for you. And you say, oh, well, thank you so much, AI. Oh, you're most welcome. I am here to serve you. I am here to make things better for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been nice talking to you. Reach out to me anytime. So the AI becomes almost like this human that you kind of want to engage with.
Yeah.
Follow me? So when you have a good conversation with someone, you find yourself going back and forth and you're enjoying the conversation and you're smiling. No. It's almost like AI is on the other side smiling back at you, feeding you warm and fuzzy feelings, because some days I almost would rather have a conversation with the AI rather than a real human being.
Well, something that kind of, I think, really lends credence to what you're saying is when I'm in the car and my wife calls on Siri, like that's a human being.
I know.
Will you, Siri, will you call this number? Or Siri, what about this question, And fortunately, so far, she doesn't say thank you.
Now, the difference between what you're talking about, Siri, in my viewpoint, and AI, like let's say have a dialogue with AI on a chatbot.
But Siri is a level of AI.
Is a level of it. However, it's engaging with you and it's learning you and it's responding to your emotional or your the reaction that or responses that you're giving it.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's on a whole new level of engagement, and so it's not like you're not asking it questions. You're engaging with it, you know what I'm saying, as almost like a human being. It's a scary place.
I read something about the extremity of this whole thing is that ultimately robots will replace humans in time.
Well, yeah, watch The Matrix.
Yeah, they just finally
human beings are just the power source. We're just robots that give them battery power so they can continue.
We don't need them anyway, so they just do away with us.
That's right. Well, that was from poisoning the homeless to AI.
But
good job.
I am just not to leave that real quick. That I do believe that Fauci was pretty much knowing that he is one of these overpopulation people, and I do believe that was part of his motivation for giving money to have the COVID investigations and all of that, and that there was a lot behind all of that.
Yeah.
And
and now we have H5N1 that's supposed to be a huge outbreak, nationwide fairly soon. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, but I just thought it was interesting. Fauci, after he retired, he left the country.
Well, is it Bill Gates here? Maybe. Well, I don't know. He probably spends a lot of time overseas.
Well, anyway,
All right. Well, good deal. Well, at least we got back into it in a way of connecting AI to maybe population control tactics.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a spin-off of it. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, the next question deals with end times and the rise of lawlessness. Mm-hmm. Are we watching Matthew 24 unfold in real time, and how should Christians respond when deception and cruelty become normalized?
Well, that's an interesting question. But really, this isn't the first time, or this has been happening before, because when you read in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. That's where that verse is, that evil is good and good is evil. How that in a period of time there, that the total understanding of right and wrong was just totally and completely reversed.
Oh, kind of like the understanding of round Earth versus flat Earth. I'm just joking. Sorry. Sorry. Wipe that. Edit. Go ahead.
Well, and Matthew 24, Jesus, he comes with the idea that his second coming, like in the days of Noah, and the reason why God finally had to judge or bring the flood was because man's thoughts were evil constantly. We're always about evil. And that God finally determined that I'm going to have to do away with this before it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And obviously that's a motivation that he's going to have when Jesus comes again. And I really feel like that after the flood, the Lord, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to judge the whole world at one time, he started doing it one empire, one nation at a time. That's what you've seen when you study history and you see the rise and fall of nations and things, and separating the languages so that people would be separated.
Sure.
To slow down. One of the things in Scripture, the idea that man levitating to large cities and stuff like that, there's a kind of a parallel to the increase in evil and sexual activity and all that kind of stuff, and moving away from God. And God was slowed down the process, at least I think, in that way, to give him time to ultimately bring about his salvation plan.
Gotcha.
It's going to take a while to prepare the way of the Lord. And he gave the Old Testament with all the prophecies and everything. So I'm going to send the Messiah, and these are the things. When you see these things happening, you'll know that's him. And it took time to put that together. So then he comes, and so then you find that Christianity has had a positive input. You see, after Christianity, you have the growth of a lot of benevolent type of things and a change in attitude and mind about loving one another and that kind of a thing, at least in the Western world. But that's starting to change now again. It seems like we're kind of moving in the opposite direction from that. Or just like in our country here, founded on Christian principles, and yet we're getting away from saying this is sin and this isn't sin. Nowadays, it's kind of like, well, it depends on what you think or what your worldview is,
or what your truth is,
or what your truth is, or what your reality is, and all that kind of a thing. To the point where you've got people thinking that there's some kind of an animal, or they're So, but yeah, it seems to me like we're getting close to where Jesus said, you're getting close to being back to the way it was in the days of Noah. So, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. Question number 3 deals with power grid failures in Europe, and could be a test run, or it could be a warning. So here we go. With widespread outages that has recently happened in Spain, Portugal, and France, could a global blackout be looming? And how might this fit into end times prophecy and digital control systems?
Well, that's an interesting question.
And the reason why I asked that, because I saw recently on X, I just kind of read what's going on, what people are posting, especially end time headlines and biblical prophecy and stuff like that. I saw this little commercial, and it was a picture of an old 55 car, and it was in mint condition. And basically the text came, "Don't you miss the days of analog?" in the way of like actually clicking a button to open a door.
Yeah.
Or folding something manually and locking it in position manually. Or there's no digital control. And that's where that
Right.
came from, is that everything is so controlled by, well, it's controlled digitally.
Right.
It's like this pen actually clicks. And you can feel it click, and you can be able to write with it. But can imagine having something that is like a laser driven. It's too much technology and driven by digital world. But anyways,
when I got out of the Marine Corps and came home, I didn't have a car, but my stepfather had an old pickup truck sitting in the backyard, Chevy pickup truck, and it was like a 53, 54. And you go out there, open up the hood. There's this little 6-cylinder engine in there, and I could climb in there and go in there and work and do all this stuff. And I finally got it running and everything. Couldn't do that today.
Oh, well,
I mean,
no.
Computers and all this stuff.
Well, the first thing you do when you pop the hood, there's this huge piece of plastic that goes from corner to corner that says "Don't touch the engine."
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know whether this pertains to the shortages and stuff. Is how that these countries, even here, are allowing their grids to get older and older, and they're not updating them. But then you have the concern about this bomb that they've got, that if they explode that bomb over a country, it just nullifies the electromagnetic.
Oh yeah, an EMP.
EMP, yeah. So obviously, that's something that would really bring a huge.
It's centrally
crisis.
Located near these countries. Well, not centrally located, but you know what's nearby these countries that we just mentioned?
The ocean.
CERN.
Oh, CERN. Okay, we're back to CERN again.
But isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's something to consider, as well as a solar flare. There's numerous theories out there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, CERN's an interesting thing. I just don't know how much of a impact it has, or an influence it has outside of itself. I mean, it's buried down underneath, it's not like it's just out there in the open just spreading stuff, but maybe I don't know.
But it kind of makes you think, are they up to something good, or are they up to something bad?
Well, because of what's happened recently, in the last 5 or 6 years, what we've had, where, okay, it looked like there was an attempt to kill half the people with a virus, and now can we really trust our government? Can we really trust the media telling us? Are they really telling us the truth, or are they telling us something they want us to think is true? There's all kinds of stuff out there that just puts you in a position where you just kind of wonder, what in the world can we trust?
God.
Well, of course that. We know he's in control. But then you're getting down into the questions about end times.
Yes.
And so a lot of, I think they're trying to create it. You can't have an antichrist until you have a one world government. And you can't have a one world government until you've created enough crisis and everything that the only answer is to finally everybody get together and make a one world government.
Yes.
Kind of like Babylon coming together, and we need to all get together instead of going off everywhere, so that we can all be one people and that kind of a thing. And of course, we know how that went.
Oh yeah.
But it does seem like that there would be different kinds of ways that they're trying to create circumstances that the answer to that is bringing all the countries together. And that's one reason why that Trump is so hated, because here's the guy that's saying, let's make America great again. with one world government mentality, you can't have any one nation that's
right.
any greater than the other. And all. The sad thing about that is that when you really get to that point of thinking, okay, a one world government with all the nations equal, that really fits into a communistic situation very easily.
Yep.
And I could just see some of these, like China and some of these places, just waiting for us and to get the right kind of thinking. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so we've got all that kind of thing going on, too.
Okay. All right, here we go. Last question deals with India and Pakistan, the next prophetic flashpoint. With rising tension between two nuclear nations, should we be watching this region more closely through the lens of Ezekiel, Daniel, or Revelation?
Yes, I do believe that we need to do that.
Okay.
We've got the big point has been Israel versus Iran. Well, up to now, Iran hasn't been the problem because they don't have nuclear yet. Whereas with India and Pakistan, of course, India is is it the most populated, or is it just pretty close to the most populated?
If it isn't, it's very close.
Very close.
Yes.
Pakistan, not the case. But and then of course you have in Pakistan kind of Islam, and then in India you got Hindu.
Yep.
And but that would certainly create a tremendous worldwide upheaval.
Oh, yes.
In every nation would be affected by it in one way or another, even if they weren't really actively. Well, look how Russia and Ukraine has really had an impact on other countries. Well, all of Europe.
Yep.
And being concerned about whether we're going to be continuing to support Ukraine or whatever.
Yes.
And Trump trying to get them to say, hey, you need to be doing more. You're the ones that need to be protected, not us, and that kind of thing. So, and then getting to that Iran thing, I just, I wonder why it is that we really think we even need to negotiate with them anymore, because we've already negotiated and never have lived up to the...
Exactly.
And obviously they're not committed to maintaining integrity as far as keeping their word. And I don't want to speak against anybody's religion, but in their particular religion, they believe it's an okay thing that if you are in war or you've got an enemy, that you're justified in lying and that kind of a thing. So
I know, it's insane. It's crazy.
I know, but that's the kind of stuff that we're up against.
That's the reason why this
worldwide
title of this podcast is Modern Madness.
Modern Madness. Well, I hope that we've made a good description of a madness going on here.
Yeah, just open up your eyes and see what's going on in the world.
And think about this modern madness thing, because I've got a couple of grandsons in high school. And what young people, as they see how this is all coming together and all of that, how does that, what kind of frame of mind does that put them into looking ahead of
exactly
what's going to be out there for me when it's my turn, And you got the inflation, and now houses kids getting out of college, they can't even pay for a college, let alone buy a house, all that kind of a thing. That's a different problem, but still. I am concerned about young people, but the thing that's going to get them through is faith. If they got faith,
that's right.
And they know that there is a God that's bigger than all this, and they put their faith and trust in Him, that He's going to carry them through, because He's got a plan, He's got a purpose, He's working it out. And if you have that kind of worldview understanding of things, doesn't matter what's going on, you have a sense within yourself.
That's right.
You know,
you can give it all to Jesus.
You give it all to Him, and it's still going to work out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to end today's podcast, by the way.
Well, a little inspiration there.
Yeah.
Illumination.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we thank you for joining us for today's episode number 47. Boy, I'll tell you what, we're coming up on that big 50.
Big 50.
And if you want to contact us, feel free to reach out to me at my email. You've probably seen it on the screen, or it's in the description, david@davidhananministries.com. And I'd like to talk to our listening audience what they're going on and what you think would be a good question for us to flesh out during this podcast. So thanks again for. Let's go ahead.
Tell a friend to tune in.
And tell a friend or two to tune in. There you go.
Why not?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, until then, tell a friend to join us next time. And we will see you on episode 48 of Pastor's Café. Until then, take care and bye-bye.